Behold, trapped in a hellscape of their own invention, socially unaware old white men bound by the pretense of being fake lawyers yet knowing no law, no exquisite Latin terminology, they are inexplicably compelled to quibble over minutia, squabble over triflings, and bicker like those who value their backyards far too highly without even knowing the difference between an easement and an alleyway. At this very moment, you have entered the heart of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. Let's get started.
So, welcome to another episode of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker on this October 27th, 2021. And this is the most guests we've ever had at one time. And we have the members of the Mystic Ghost Paranormal Research Team. Well, they'll be finding out if Greg is actually alive or not by the end of the show. So that'll be their task, is to see if that can be figured out. And hopefully along the way they will also later on in the second half of the show help us with our client. Here today, ghost tomorrow. So that is our client for today, which we'll be doing again later on. But before we get started and find out who everybody is, Greg has found our fake sponsor for today that will not be paying our bills. So Greg, if you could take over and let us know who our fake sponsor is, I can't wait.
I'm not sharing it with you guys, but he paid me for this.
Oh.
In Manhattan, New York, a retail store sells only M&M candies. No Necco wafers, no Charleston shoes, not even a Lickum stick. In Atlanta, Georgia, a highly intelligent neurosurgeon refuses to eat bacon because it caused trichinosis in people who lived before the invention of refrigeration. Hi, this is Sydney Rosenthal, and I'd like to invite you to listen to my new podcast, Baffling Conundrums. Each week, I will explore the mildly perplexing and the strangely befuddling world in which we live. Here are a few more stories that will fill you with quandary. In Terre Haute, Indiana, a gay bar hasn't played one good song in over 17 years. In Hollywood, California, a movie producer greenlights an $80 million film based on a board game that no one plays anymore, and without a good script. In Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, a young soldier rams a pork sausage up the rectal cavity of a hooded prisoner held without trial, and he is commended by his superiors for this. So please join me every week as we enter the world of baffling conundrums.
Well, thank you for that, Greg. You searched far and wide for that particular sponsor, didn't you?
Well, thanks, Sydney. Thanks, Sydney Rosenthal.
Sydney.
Tracking you down and saying, I want to not sponsor the show.
I made $1,000 for that.
Well, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Yeah. All right, moving on.
You're not getting shit.
I don't usually. So we have I'll list out who I've got. We've got the founder of Mystic Ghost Paranormal Research, Michelle DePaul. We have Allison Tidwell, who is also a physical medium and a paranormal investigator, and Michelle Roan, who is the director of communications and the paranormal investigator for, I keep wanting to say Mystic Force because that was a band I knew that was in Baltimore many years ago. But Mystic Ghost Paranormal Research, and they're here for our Halloween show. But I guess Michelle DePaul is probably the best one to discuss the origination of your team and how this all got started. Did you first
origination?
Did you first get tickled by a ghost or something, and then you went, what was doing that to me? And then you decided to get into the business?
Exactly.
I knew it. Ghost ticklers, they're a big problem.
Just growing up, having experiences and not understanding what was happening. And, you tell your folks or you tell your siblings and they just tell you that it's your imagination. So this happened with me growing up, and it just got to a point where, I would tune it out, but then every so many years it would resurface again. So that just pretty much led me on a path to research and, just read everything and anything I could get my hands on in regards to the paranormal.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but what kind of experiences did you have growing up that made you go, what the hell is this?
Well, laying in bed, I would, the best way I could describe it is I would see figures, almost like looking at a negative. like people walking in my room. Also, getting ready for school one morning, I saw this anomaly come out of my parents' bedroom door, and it came right up to me and met me in the hallway. And I was like, holy crap, like, what is this? And I remember sticking my arm through it, and it just scared the shit out of me. And then I bolted in, jumped in their bed, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I just saw. But just weird things like that, hearing my name being called, smelling things. So it was, yeah, kind of creepy, but then intriguing at the same time, because it was, I just thought it was fascinating after, being playful with it. So.
Was this in your house growing up?
Yes. Well, I'm a military brat. So before we started moving around, it was the home. My dad had purchased a home in North Carolina, and that's where he retired back to, but it was on that property. However, when we lived in Hawaii, and I was like I think it was 7th grade, again, how I told you it would resurface, I would have experiences at my intermediate school. I would see things in the closets. I would tell this is kind of a weird story, but I would always know when the light was on in the closet. And I would ask my teacher, can I turn this light off? And long story short, and the kids in the class thought, Michelle's just crazy. Like, why is she obsessed with this closet? But then the teacher wound up telling us a ghost story that had to do with the Kamehamehas, the Hawaiians, that haunted the grounds there.
Interesting.
So it was just like, just little things, then.
Did this lead to like years? Go ahead,
sorry?
Greg.
Did you ever like share your experiences, or were you afraid to tell people what you saw? Did you think maybe I'm crazy, or would you tell your parents and friends like I saw this person in my bedroom?
Yeah, I did tell like my best friend, like the thing that happened in school, but growing up, it was just frustrating being a kid because I know I was seeing these things or hearing these things. But again, they just said, oh, you're making that up. So it was frustrating.
Did this lead to like years of heavy drinking and drug abuse, or?
No.
Oh, that's good. That's
Maybe
good.
some drugs, but
that'll silence the ghosts.
She took a lot of aspirin to get through it, I think.
Yeah, not everyone's story is like ours, Matt.
So so you created this on your own, or did you grab other people whenever you started making Mystic Ghost a reality?
Yeah, with Mystic Ghost, I founded it in 2003. Allison and I were part of another group prior. So we were investigating places around, Texas, and it just got to a point where, I wanted to really do research on this, and again, founded it in 2003. And, it's kind of been history ever since. We're one of the longest active paranormal teams in the DFW area.
What happened to the last group? Did they just like fight internally all the time, and that's why you left? Or
we're really fortunate because back then, there weren't so many ghost groups, and people would. The best way I can explain it, there are ghost hunters and there's paranormal investigators. The ghost hunters are the ones that want to go out, get spooked, have a cheap thrill, take a couple pictures. And that's what we did in the beginning. Mm-hmm. But then a paranormal investigator, we use tons of equipment, spend hours, reviewing our evidence. So there is a difference there. And I think throughout the years, and Allison and I have been on a lot of investigations where, do you remember I think it was called My Family before Facebook?
MySpace?
Huh?
MySpace?
MySpace Family.
Before MySpace. It was called My
Lost
Family.
in Space?
Lost in Space. Lost in Spacebook.
Yeah, so Allison remembers, and we used to use that like Facebook and post our pictures and talk and go to meetups and meet other like-minded folks, and it just kind of turned into more of a professional thing for us.
Was this to find out that you weren't nuts? Is that basically what like caused you to really get into investigating and go, I need to have evidence, I need to show people that I haven't lost my marbles?
No, I can't talk for Michelle or Allison, but for me, I just was fascinated with it. It was like a drug itself. Like I just wanted more and more and more. You know, if I can prove this, great. It was just consuming for me.
Did the film Ghostbusters influence you? Did you see it as a little girl? No.
She didn't want to bust the ghost, Greg.
Have you seen it since? Do you like that movie as a
Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Wow. Honestly, I haven't seen it since for years, but
Okay.
Have you come across an entity that fills its face with hot dogs?
Yes, all the time. It's literally exactly like that movie. I mean, we have all the equipment. We have that station wagon type.
Yeah.
Is there ectoplasmic slime? Is that just something they made up, or is that like a
shower
thing
every night after every investigation?
Oh, I'm serious though. I've heard of like I used to read.
So
like,
no, Greg is not serious. So let me bring it back to something
serious.
that I'm actually interested in, which is there are. It seems like there's a preponderance of ghost hunters out there, because I'd mentioned to people that I knew that we were going to be interviewing ghost hunters. And they were like, "Oh, those ghost hunters," and I'm like, "No, I don't know that there's." So anyway, there seems like there's a ton, and in fact, weirdly enough, I live in Florida. Stormy Daniels, who I wouldn't consider necessarily a ghost hunter, apparently has some sort of ghost hunter thing, and she came through my town and was somewhere. How many ghost hunter organizations out there? Is there competition? Is there collaboration?
Both.
How does that work?
Go ahead, Michelle.
I would say both. There's a ton. There's ever since I would say not Ghost Adventures. Is it Ghost Hunters? Was that the show with the original show? Yeah.
Oh, Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a Ghost Whisperer show at one point too?
Yeah, that was more of a psychic type show.
I think Ghost Hunters with Grant and is it Jason? I think when it came out, but we were doing it before they were, you know what I mean? Not saying they're not good. I mean, it's just that brought it into the mainstream. I think that really brought it into people's homes, you know, where it really wasn't before. And there's competition. We don't really compete with anybody. I don't think. I mean, I'm not like, oh, we got to get in there before they do. We don't do that. But we do collaborate with teams that we trust, you know, like we have times, Allison and Michelle can tell you, where we are inundated with requests and, you know,
can't keep up with it.
Can't keep up with it. So we have other teams that we work with that we will send overflow to and vice versa. We work with a demonologist and a Catholic priest that we'll bring along sometimes if we need it. So, and sorry, Shell. No, that's okay. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to mention, you know, early on, like around 2008-ish, there was a lot of drama with ghost groups.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw it, you know, just fighting over who could get like a interview with the local newspaper. Like there was a lot of shit going on. People stabbing each other in the back because they wanted the fame. Because it was all, you know, it was a new thing, like Michelle said, you know, when Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters came out. But now you flick on the TV, I can't even keep track of how many paranormal shows there are.
Insane. It is. We've had, how many, Michelle? Like, how many producers?
Probably like on our fifth production company dealing with somebody.
They come
Would
to
you guys say that most ghosts are benevolent or malevolent? What's the ratio?
Or ambivalent.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or ambivalent.
Sorry. Actually, I think most spirits that we deal with are malevolent.
Wait, you just combined the two. You combined benevolent and benevolent and malevolent together. Which one?
He's the quibbler, by the way. He's
the bad one or the good one?
The good one.
Okay, so benevolent.
Yeah.
Got
it. I believe that they are more towards the calmer side. Some of them are just seeking help. Some of them are hanging around. It's not to say that we haven't been, had instances with malevolent spirits, because we pretty much all of us in our group have had some sort of altercation with a negative spirit.
Yeah, you said you had altercations.
Yeah. So I think
I've been choked before.
You've been choked by a spirit.
Yes. You know, in Schulenburg, Texas, we were at a ghost convention, and, you know, we were doing an investigation afterwards, and I was with my niece, and, you know, I set up the camera, we went to sleep, and I actually physically felt like I was being choked, and, you know, totally freaked me out, got up, I smelled like a man's cologne in the room.
Greg, were you there?
So what do you do in that situation, Michelle? Do you is there something you can do, or you just got up and you stopped doing it?
Yeah.
Stopped.
For me, I tend to tune into my equipment. So I got up right away. You know, of course I said, you know, get out of here, leave me alone. Make sure the camera was still rolling. Actually, the camera was turned off. But stuff like that, like I've had my hair being pulled. Michelle had an incident at SK Pierce. Remember the closet?
Because I mean, obviously you guys are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but you travel around. Do you feel like there are areas that are more, and I guess maybe that's based on history, that are more subject to this kind of thing? Like, I always think of the Northeast and New England as like the more haunted places in the world, but obviously you find lots of ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's everywhere.
You don't think there's any difference relative to like how long people have lived there, or creepy old houses, or
I think
men.
Right. Yes. I think people are haunted too. Right. You know, so like the energy, like Michelle and I just had a very intense, especially Michelle, situation recently at we investigated a bowling alley, and there was I would definitely say malevolent something that attached itself to Michelle. And she had I don't know, I'm one of those people that I have the worst attitude going in if I don't think it's haunted, and I'm like, nothing's going to happen. And then of course the shit hits the fan, like everything goes crazy. It's like the most intense investigation we've ever had. And so you know, we use a lot of equipment. We have a ridiculous amount of equipment, and we use, you know, ourselves, how we feel, like what is happening. In some investigations, nothing happens. It's, you know, we don't make shit up. It just doesn't happen. Well, this one, there was a lot of stuff happening. And
where was the bowling alley?
Can we say yet, Michelle? Are we able to say?
Yeah.
Okay. It was in
Corsicana, Texas.
Corsicana, Texas.
Texas. Okay.
So, you know, I think that there are certain imprints that people leave, you know, on locations. Like we were in New Orleans. We were in St. Francisville. I think Louisiana, especially New Orleans, is insane, like insane. New Orleans, we had gone in 2011, 10 years ago, I guess it was. Yeah. We went to the Myrtles Plantation, which was crazy. And then we had there was like 9 of us. We intended on investigating Louisiana, but it was St. Patty's Day, and that didn't actually happen. So we did the parade and we got drunk. And so anyway, there
wouldn't be much investigating going on if I was in New Orleans.
Once we got downtown, we
got downtown, and it was like, no, this isn't.
But I could agree that, I mean, I've never had any sort of paranormal experience that I can say, but I gotta say that there is a certain vibe to New Orleans that is inescapable. And I've talked to people who are the biggest, you know, skeptics on the planet, but I've talked to them about going to New Orleans because I love the town, I love the city. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, when you're there, it feels like you're in some sort of Gothic novel or some Anne Rice thing. It just does. It's
so different. And you know, it's funny. We were just talking about this. We went into Madame Laveau's Voodoo shop, you know, and you know, I'm walking around. I'm like, oh, look at this. This is so cool. Oh my gosh, look. Oh, this is so neat. Blah, blah, blah. And then I look and it says, do not touch. Please do not touch anything. And I'm like, of course, my hands were over everything. Like I touched literally everything.
You are not allowed to go to museums, Michelle.
Right?
You got some bad mojo now.
So, I swear to God, that night I had these awful images in my head. It was before I even fell asleep, and it was the most realistic most horrifying, and I'd forgotten about it at that point, but it was scary. So I was just like, I'm Catholic, and I was just like, oh, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. You know, it was like terrifying. But New Orleans is a whole different, it's like a vibe.
Yeah.
I love that city though. Yeah, it's
Could
really
you guys clarify something for me? I always grew up thinking that, like, from what I know of ghosts, like from movies and literature, is that usually if someone is like wronged in this world or has something wasn't finished, that's why they come back. Is that kind of true? Like, so people who were like, if they just died,
yeah, I think
if
we
they
all
just died
have our
peacefully.
different,
Oh, sorry. No,
no, you're fine. I think we all have our different views on like kind of what that is, right?
Hear that?
I think it's Allie.
Yeah, Allie's pinging.
Yeah, I can't mute her because it's going so quickly. It keeps changing on my screen. I accidentally muted Brendan.
That's okay. You can mute me anytime, bro.
Yeah, Allie, can you put the headphones back on or something?
Yeah, then she won't be able to talk.
I think,
I always wondered
what are those devices called that
She's obviously in the military, and she's trying to talk to her company.
The devices that translate the white noise. I'm sure you guys have
spirit boxes.
Yeah,
that's something. The EMF is like
signal. Yeah, there's some sort of EMF thing coming through.
I know.
Yeah, on hers, right?
There's one thing I do want to kind of.
Oh, it went away. It's gone now. Well, son of a gun.
I called it out. I said I was good. I said we were going to apply some ghost hunting technology, and the ghost went away.
That's so funny.
Yeah, just we
I
can't
should be
hear
on the
her
next
anymore,
adventure,
though.
girls. I'm ready to go.
You know, with one thing that I've learned through the years is it's not just, when you're trying to prove this stuff, everyone tends to go to their equipment, which I did in the beginning. But I really feel like you need to understand the scientific part of it and also a metaphysical method. You need to combine the two in order to understand the supernatural, because everything's energy, vibrations. We emit EMF. We use these EMF detectors. I wanted to bring up when Michelle was talking about the bowling alley. You see on TV people being possessed, and you're like, that's just a bunch of shit. Like they're acting. It's all crap or whatever.
Don't hold back, Michelle. Just go ahead. Let them have it.
I know. Well, for the first time in my life, at the bowling alley, I was being attacked by something there, like Michelle mentioned. It was physically grabbing me to the point at the end of the night. I felt it come in from behind me. But again, I thought, it just, spooked me or whatever. But because we had Father Ruben there and Robert, we had three people.
I just don't know how a father can be named Ruben. That would be a rabbi, I would think.
He's Hispanic. He's Hispanic.
Oh, he's Hispanic. All right, then it makes sense. Because it'd be nice like the U would have like an accent mark over it. So, okay, it all makes sense now. Yeah.
So, they had asked me, can we pray over you before we leave? And I was like, sure. And I really didn't take it seriously. But holy crap, when they started to do their thing with me, I kid you not. And I know explaining this to you, you're not going to understand. I think somebody has to actually go through this to fully understand what I went through. So I'm sitting there, and in my mind, I started to have this battle. Like I could feel my emotions changing, and I was feeling myself, starting to cry, but then like thinking in my head, like, holy shit, like what the fuck's going on? And then like wanting to laugh, like just crack up. And like I had this battle going on in my head, and they were doing their prayer and throwing water on me and shit. And it was the most crazy experience I ever had. But the only thing I could take away from it was the line of work that we're in. Maybe I needed to go through that to fully understand folks that say that they are, that something's attached to them or they're possessed. But I mean, it was just, I can't explain it. It's something somebody has to truly go through to know what I'm talking about.
Why do you think
it worked what he did? You felt fine after he put
I had three guys praying over me, doing their whole spiel.
Do you think if you had Buddhist monks there, that they would have been as effective?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, my question would be, are you a religious person yourself? Are you Catholic? Are you Christian? Are you agnostic? Or, because a lot of times I think people that sort of poo-poo this idea of exorcism or whatever, they go, well, that's just, yeah, thank you, Matt. They just, look at it from the perspective of, well, that's just their religious beliefs. And so their religious beliefs are actually what's at play here and not necessarily something else that's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I believe in God. I believe in, divine, there's a divine being that's, our creator. But I also do believe in, I go further into like multi realities. Like I believe that there's other dimensions, and again, this all goes back to, and I'm still studying it, the effects of vibrations and frequencies. I think if you're in the right surroundings, the right settings, somehow we're able to cross paths with these dimensions. And
right, so it's sort of the multi-dimensional thing. Do you think some people are just more in tune to that? Because I don't feel I am. I wish I was.
I think, honestly, I think we all have the ability. It's just a matter of dedicating time to understand it and hone in on what your strong, what your strong points are. I've studied, many years of how the energy affects the body, how consciousness plays a role in your psyche. And again, the vibration and frequencies. So
but if somebody's dead to those particular frequencies, then the malevolent experience can't do anything to them either.
See, but say that again?
So if somebody is dead to those frequencies, they don't experience it, they don't feel it, because then the benevolent ones can't do anything to them. But then the malevolent ones, I would think, wouldn't be able to do anything to them either, right?
I don't know that you can be dead to those frequencies if you're living, like if you're alive, right? I think because we live off frequencies, like we have energy.
You walk into a room and you get like a weird feeling, right? Sometimes, like if you like.
Yeah, if I'm not wearing shoes and it's covered in pudding.
Have you ever had an experience where you just walked into a place and could feel it was heavy, like you don't know what it was? It could be a bar, it could be any place. Just the energy just seemed different.
Not when it's been empty, but when there's been people around, you could feel like a vibe from the people that are. But I've never really gotten it from any empty locations, vacant locations.
Okay.
Like not walking upstairs, not walking down the street or anything like that. I haven't experienced it. I'm just saying that's me. So
yeah,
I think Matt, that I think it's true that if there are people in the room, it's easier to pick that up. But I can't say that, and I'm just as skeptic as anybody else. But I'm kind of I guess I'm not the Mulder, but the Scully here. Is that I don't totally believe it, but but I know that I've experienced things where I have been in an empty room. Like I remember specifically walking into a warehouse and getting a real sketchy vibe. And I even mentally went through the process of going, well, maybe it just looks creepy, but it didn't really look that creepy as I felt. Now, maybe that's just me, and maybe that was the time, and I had a hangover. Who knows? But I think there's a certain amount of that's true. And maybe the hangover was helping me be in touch with that. I don't know. What about you, Greg?
I never felt that, but I did have a question. Is ghosts part of any like mainstream religion, like the Catholic Church or fundamentalist Christian or any kind of Protestant? Do they accept ghosts in their cosmology?
I can speak to Catholicism. I grew up, and that's something that's interesting too about the four of us. We all have
other than the Holy Ghost, of course.
Right. I was going to say the Holy Ghost, but most religions, if you think about it, and well, I wish Allison could talk. But anyway, most religions, if you think about it, they have a good and they have an evil, right? And I believe in good and evil. I believe there's a good. If you have a good, there's got to be a yin and a yang, right? There's got to be a balance there. As far as ghosts go, I believe most do. Allison is
she's a Wiccan.
Okay, I didn't want to say it wrong. A Wiccan. She's a witch, but a good witch. No, she's not a witch. Sorry.
She's not. She's a Wiccan.
Just kidding.
She's a pagan.
She's a pagan.
Yeah, she's not a sandwich. She's not a sandwich.
No, she's a pagan. But she does all these really cool rituals, and she's a clairaudient. Like it's her energy. She's pissed off at me. See?
Yes, her energy is destroying the audio feed.
I said the wrong word.
I think she's pissed off because she can't communicate the way she should be able to communicate.
But yeah,
it's like that pilot episode of Star Trek where the guy's a little beeper.
Well, tell us a story while we've got you, and we'll just deal with the noise.
Okay. Well, first of all, my beliefs are I am a pagan. I don't consider myself Wiccan because I don't follow the religious practices of it. But I do use ritual when we're doing cleansings at an investigation where we're trying to get a negative spirit out.
What kind of pagan are you? Are you like Mithraism, or are you druidic, or what kind of pagan are we talking about?
Yeah, you could kind of describe me maybe druidic a little bit. I mean, I love nature and everything like that, but I do a lot of candle magic.
Like David Copperfield?
I don't do a lot of spell work. That's where, that's more of a ritualistic thing, and I'm not really into all the ritualistic stuff. I do believe in a divine power. I believe in duality. I think that, I'm going to be kind of cliche here, but I'm going to make a quote from the movie The Craft, in which the Wiccan bookstore owner basically says, true magic is never white or black, it's both because nature is both. You need the duality between the good and the bad in order to create a balance, the yin and the yang. And that's what I believe in.
Taoist. You're a Taoist then.
Well, I don't put a label on it. I just basically say I'm a pagan witch, and that's where my beliefs lie.
I will say you've been effective in making Greg disappear because
sorry about that.
No, whatever spell or signal or something that is, please send it to me via text message so I can make Greg disappear at will. That'd be fantastic.
Sorry.
And next time I'm in Dallas, I'll buy whatever drink you want if you can make Matt disappear.
Me and Fireball don't get along, I'll just tell you that much.
I wish you guys were local because we have a huge event. Well, I told you guys a little bit, but we have a huge event coming up. I wish you guys could come, but...
Well, tell us, right now would be a perfect time to talk about the events you have going on and what you've got planned, because we kind of bypassed the center of the show because of the technical difficulties, but I let it go on a little bit longer for that. So why don't you tell us about the events, either Michelle or Allison, whoever wants to take the reins.
Yeah, Michelle.
You want me to? So
I am going to mute you though, Allison, because that noise is like kind of maddening.
So on Saturday, October 30th, at the Stockyards, downtown Fort Worth, at the downtown Cowtown ISIS Theater, Mystic Ghost is going to be presenting. So we investigated that theater. It is a very old theater that was destroyed by a flood, I believe. Then it was rebuilt, lots of activity. Again, I went in with a super negative attitude because I was like, it's not haunted, nothing's going to happen. And we got a ridiculous amount of evidence. So we investigated it, and now we are presenting it to the public. So people can buy tickets, and I still think they have tickets available to come sit in the theater while we present our investigation on the screen while they're sitting in the haunted theater that we investigated. Is
there a website to get the tickets, or?
Yes. What is the website, Michelle?
Yeah, you can go to the, it's called Cowtown Downtown at the ISIS Theater.
I think it's downtown. Isn't it?
It's what?
Is it downtown?
Cowtown? It's on our Facebook page.
So it's down Cowtown. Brown cow.
Downtown.
How do you get to the Facebook page? How do you get to your Facebook page?
Oh, okay. It's downtowncowtown.com.
Okay,
and
downtown Cowtown.
Remember?
Yeah, and
I have a tattoo that says that.
You do.
Who doesn't? I mean, I have the brand. I have the cow brand.
Yeah, our Facebook is Mystic Ghost Paranormal Research at facebook.com.
Okay. Look for it.
So the event is going to be Saturday. Doors open at 7, starts at 7:30. We'll do like a presentation. Yeah, we'll show the equipment that we use, show our top 5 creepy moments, and then premiere the episode of The Haunting of the Isis.
Oh, that sounds fun. Is that going to be live on YouTube as well, or?
It's not, but we will post it on YouTube after the fact.
Hey guys, I just want to apologize. My bladder was possessed by urine and I had to exercise.
Okay, you know what, Greg? Allison, whatever you did to make him go away.
I had an exorcism.
Apparently the power of urine compelled him. So,
so what's your YouTube channel? Because I want to tune in and I don't live in Dallas, and
it's Mystic Ghost.
Mystic Ghost? Okay.
Just Mystic Ghost.
And that's Mystic with a Y.
Not Mystic Forest. Mystic Ghost.
Yes.
And our website is mysticghost.com. Yeah. So we have a ton of stuff on our YouTube if you want to look at some of our episodes. And I'm really sorry Ben isn't here. He's hanging out with Patrick Starr. Apparently, he texted me a picture. He's just
there are some fascinating videos on their website too. I totally recommend people go check that out.
We have a good time too. Like, we're funny too, I think. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, so thank you for having us.
You're welcome. So we're going to move on to the second half of the show, but before we do that, we have our I guess cooking segment of the show. That
well, they're allowed to leave before that, right?
Well, no, they have to listen to this. It's the law.
It's a requirement to listen to the cooking segment.
They have to hear it because it's like a demand. So that way they know whether or not they want to stick around or not. This is like the telling point. This is the thing where they go, all right, this is when I run or this is when I stay. So
this is the part where I want to make Matt disappear.
Right.
Go ahead, Matt.
Pretty much. Here we go. Here's our cooking segment.
Food is for eating. Food is for eating. Food is for eating with Waspy Soda Pop.
Hey there, everybody. This is Waspy Soda Pop once again with Food is for Eating. This week, though, I'm not going to give you the recipe because it's Halloween. So I thought it'd be best if I brought in another one of my cousins from the old country. This is where actually the whole Pop family comes from. It's from Romania. But this particular cousin actually is in Transylvania. His name is Viespe Sifon Pop. And he's going to give you a very fascinating recipe for Transylvania pancakes. Hello there. This is VSB Seafoam Pop. I'm going to give you the ingredients now for my special Transylvania pancakes. First, you get the 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Then you need 4 cups of lukewarm yak milk. You can get that at any local grocery store. I mean, what kind of grocery store is it if it doesn't have yak milk? Then you must get 2 large eggs whisked, 1/4 cup of unsalted butter melted. Then a special ingredient, the souls of 3 life insurance salesmen. They should be from farmers. You must then include 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. This is optional for tasting, of course. 2 teaspoons of bread machine yeast. And finally, 1½ teaspoons of salt. This recipe comes from my grandmother, Bunica, so you have to like it. Now that you have all of your ingredients, you pour the flour into a large bowl. Slowly stir milk into the flour, the yak milk. Add your whisked eggs, the butter, and oil, and mix to form a smooth pancake batter like any good Transylvanian. Stir the vanilla extract, yeast, and salt into batter. Add the souls of the insurance salesmen. Cover bowl with plastic wrap and set the bowl in a warm place, perhaps near your heart, where it can feel your heart beating, beating, beating. And let rise until doubled in volume about 1 to 2 hours. Now you heat a lightly oiled griddle. Over medium-high heat, drop batter by 1/4 cup onto the griddle. Cook until bubbles form and the edges are dry, 3 to 4 minutes. Then, using a high-pitched wail, scream at the pancakes for at least 5 seconds. At least 5 seconds. Flip and cook until brown on the other side, 2 to 3 minutes. Repeat with remaining batter. These are pure Transylvania pancakes. I am VSB Seafoam Pop. Goodbye. Well, Thank you very much there, Riespe. Man, my relatives, sometimes I wonder where they get their voices from. Anyway, this is Waspy Soda Pop, and this is Food is for Eating. Happy Halloween, everybody. They get worse every time, don't they?
You got that voice from Count Floyd from SCTV, apparently.
It was
See,
Count
Count
Chocula.
Floyd. No, it was Count Floyd. That's what we were talking about before the show.
Very scary.
Very scary. That was Count Floyd.
Oh!
I just was embarrassed the whole time. So anyway, so that brings us to the second half of our show.
Sidney Rosenthal was a better accent than your fucking Romanian accent.
Okay, guys.
You can win anytime you need to win, Greg. So that brings us to the second half of their show, where we now discuss our client. And again, you guys are welcome to stick around, or you can take off. It's your choice. The client is here today, goes tomorrow, and it's essentially we'll be discussing, like, where does the concept of a ghost come from after you croak? Is it just humans that become ghosts, or can insects become ghosts too? Can places be haunted by multiple insects? If you kill a whole round of gnats, will they haunt you? I don't know. We can go from there. What do you think, Greg?
Well, I'm curious. If you guys don't mind just staying for a few minutes, have you ever had a ghost animal? A ghost dog? Yeah?
You guys should nod your heads because it's also on audio. So you're allowed to speak.
Oh, I forgot.
You can't hear the rattling on the podcast platforms.
Oh, I'm
Their
sorry.
heads were nodding.
I've never thought about, like a gnat or a ant. That's interesting when you said that.
Welcome to my mind.
I've had, when our husky passed away a couple years ago, my husband saw her that day. So, I know dogs and cats, or at least in my life, I've seen come back.
Yeah.
I don't know about flies because I've killed so many flies.
You'd be haunted like
I know.
I mean, that comes to, like, are there levels of consciousness? And
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes,
Yeah.
they deserve to die. And if I was haunted by them, it'd be terrible. Whereas a dog or a cat,
doesn't it go with a Homo sapien, it's like when you start off, you have minerals and whatever that don't really have a consciousness. But I think you're right.
I think there's a certain point, there's a consciousness that whatever has the proper amount of vibration or imprint or whatever you want to call it. I just don't think an ant or a gnat or a mosquito, thank
it doesn't have brain matter.
But do we know that? Do we know? Like, that's what.
Think about it. Think how smart ants are.
Mm-hmm. Incredibly smart. Bees.
I don't like to think about it, ladies. That's my thing. I've killed so many bugs.
I know, right?
I don't want to be haunted by the ants that I've stomped on.
I'm pretty sure the insects don't have feelings, though. I know ants are very smart and they have their society.
We know so little.
I don't think they have feelings.
So you're saying, Greg, that you have to have nerve endings to haunt somebody?
Well, maybe a certain amount of sentience, not full-on sentience.
Yeah.
Wait, Allison said wasps said just assholes, which is like the whole cooking segment is about wasps.
I got stung by a wasp this summer for no reason. I was sitting there minding my own business and it stung me on my back. And I was like, and I yelled at it.
Do wasps need a reason?
No, but like,
dicks.
I mean, they are. And I was like, I yelled at it like it was a toddler. And I was like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Like, I smacked it away and like, I don't know.
Let's talk about it. Why did you do that?
Right. Well, I mean, I'm in the mental health field, right? So that, let's talk about your feelings, Wasp. Why did you feel the need to do that? So
I can say with complete certainty, wasps are just total fucking assholes. As a bug. Like a bee, I get it. You mess with the bee and it stings you. A mosquito is an asshole. I mean,
mosquitoes are the deadliest animals
mosquitoes are like feeding off you, they need blood, but a wasp is just like, I'm gonna hurt you for no good reason. Right. Is that
really belligerent wasps?
They're definitely going to hell. Definitely. Wasps, I mean, we can all come to a consensus the wasps are going to hell. Like,
whether you believe in hell or not, they're all going to hell, or they should.
Absolutely. Regardless.
I want to tell you a quick wasp story, the worst wasp story ever, where my mom was having our friends over in our kitchen. And I went outside for a second, and then I went to the bathroom, and I guess a wasp got it right in my belt band of my pants. I didn't know that when I put my pants back on. So when I came in the kitchen, all of a sudden in my belly I just felt like, and I couldn't rip my pants off in front of my mom's friends. So I had to run all the way to the bathroom to rip my pants off, get the fucking wasp out. But it got me like 7 times.
Oh my!
Because I was basically killing it. It was stuck in my belt area.
Your mom's friends were like, "Is Greg okay? Like, what is going on?"
He really had to go to the bathroom.
Right? Is he going to the bathroom?
I know, but I would have literally ripped off my pants right then and there, but I couldn't. So I had to get jabbed 7 times by that fucking wasp.
I think Allison was near you when that happened, because that happened to her with a horsefly. She said something about the dropping of her shorts, but then it cut off at the end of the message that she sent about the dropping.
It says, she said, had that happened with the horsefly stung me 7 times before I dropped my shorts in front of the rest of my brownie camp. So, the brownie.
Oh my Lord.
Is special story.
And if you have a really bad reaction, it's a worse kind of brownie too. So,
well, that's a different brownie.
Getting back to here today, ghost tomorrow. So, like, how soon after somebody croaks do they then become a ghost? Is it immediate? Do they have to go through a waiting period? Is there like a training manual they get to haunt people? Is there some kind of lessons that they have to learn to be able to do it appropriately?
Did you see Beetlejuice, Matt? Beetlejuice.
Is it all based on Beetlejuice, Greg? I mean, but which movie would be the most accurate movie to describe the phenomena of what happens with ghosts?
I love this question, and I'm so sorry I have to jump in. But
don't be sorry, just be belligerent.
I will.
Okay, good.
There's a movie with Meryl Streep, and it's called Defending Your Life. Not Mel Brooks.
Oh yeah, wasn't like Warren Beatty in that too, or?
Not Warren Beatty.
No,
that was Heaven Can Wait.
You're thinking of Heaven Can Wait.
Yeah. No, this is they're dead.
That was Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks, thank you. Yeah. So they're dead, and they basically have to. Yeah, it's Defending Your Life. They basically have to watch a movie of their life and then kind of get graded on, where are you going? Are you going to heaven? Are you going to hell? What's happening? And Meryl Streep is like the best. Everything is. Great. And Albert Brooks is like, not so much. But I think it kind of depends on your belief system. I was a hospice social worker for 9 years, I guess. Rough job, but I got to see a lot, and I got to hear a lot on people's deathbeds. And one lady who was nearing the end, it was very interesting. She kept having these deathbed experiences, and she would like kind of go out of consciousness and come back in and go out and come back in. And she told me this was so interesting. She had come back, from being out of consciousness. And she told me that, she saw these people, and that you sign up, when you die, well, there's more people. There's not just people who've died, but there's angels and other things. And you sign up for a job to be almost like after death for people who've died, paramedics who come and they help you along. But it's ultimately your choice, basically, to stick around or move on. So if you have unfinished business that you still want to stay, you can stay. Like if there's things that you still want to see, grandchildren, you can come and go, you can leave. Now, I don't know if she was hallucinating. I don't know, but it was super interesting. One more thing, and this is kind of scary, so just heads up. And I've told the girls this before. I had this one man who I wasn't a fan of, but you don't have to be a fan of everybody who's dying as a social worker.
Right.
Oh, got it.
Right. It was Greg. I apologize, but it was.
Yeah, Brenda's not a fan of me.
I'm not a fan of either one of them, but I would listen to them on their dying bed.
Dying bed.
This old man, and it was interesting because his daughter was there, and it was a really strained relationship. And I didn't, everybody wants to talk, so I did my visits and whatever, and I spoke with him, and he wasn't very Allie, What Dreams May Come, amazing. I didn't read the book, but the movie was like, oh my God, so good.
The movie is fantastic.
Oh my God, incredible for its time too. So anyway, he was just really guarded. The daughter, they didn't speak much. Him and the daughter didn't speak much. So she told me that he was abusive in more ways than one growing up to her and her sister. So I knew that. Sorry, that's my dog hearing your dog. No.
They're talking to each other.
Exactly. So he's on his deathbed, and he says to me, and he's like old, he's like 98, and he's very frail, like very close. So I'm visiting one day, and he says to me, do you see all those trees? Why are all these trees in my room? It's so dark. Why are all these trees here? And I said, well, you know, I don't see the trees. Can you? And of course, me being in the paranormal, I'm always like, tell me what they look like. What do you see? You know, and he's describing this dark forest, you know, and he says, it's so dark and I'm scared, you know, and I'm trying to talk him through it and saying, it's okay. Everything's going to be fine. Knowing full well in my head, probably it's not, but okay. You know, what am I going to say? Then this was the freakiest thing. I'm sitting in a chair next to his bed. He's at home. And he says, she's here again. And I said, who's here again? And he said, that woman. And I said, well, what does she look like? He said, you don't see her. She's sitting on the end of my bed. And I said, I don't see her. You know, what does she look like? He said, I can never see her face. All I can see is the back of her head. And I was like, I gotta go. Time's up. Right. And so like, it sounded terrifying. And so.
But she could have been a friendly back of the head person. I
don't know. Cause all accounts, this man was terrible. Like, I mean, really abusive. He abused his daughters sexually, verbally, physically. I'm gonna go with the girl at the bottom of the bed who's sitting there with her head backwards or some craziness. No. I mean, all you could see was just the back of her. I guess her was facing forwards, and his room was a dark forest. That's what he could see. And you know, lots of things are happening in the brain when the body's dying. So I don't know, and it could have been his own, you know, guilt. I don't know. Right. It was crazy.
Well, he's 98. He could have been a Nazi for all we know.
I've had a German soldier. I have, but it was not as a.
But you don't mean in a sexual way. You mean like you in the hospice.
Don't know that. I'm not gonna confirm or deny. No, I'm just kidding. No, not in a sexual way. No. He was. 15.
She's had a German soldier.
Maybe. All right. He was 15.
Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome, Brendan.
He was 15 when he was, and he had no choice. So anyway, that's my story.
Well, but, Allison just brought some Yiddish into this. Damn incububi.
Oh, incubi.
Yes, there was an incububi.
Incubi, guy, and
that's
Yiddish.
When it's an incubus, plural. But you know it's your grandparent, so it all works out.
Incubi.
So you know, I've always been curious, like, where are the spaces in between these things? Like, what does a ghost do when there's nobody around? It's kind of like there's a bear shit in the woods type of thing. So if there's nobody around to hear a ghost rattling around in the house, what does it do? What does it do in the off hours? Does it read a book? Does it play poker? What kind of activities do ghosts have when they're not busy doing whatever that they do when people are around?
Did they do fidget spinners?
Right.
Is that what you're curious
I think
about?
they're all about fidget spinners. That'll like spend a lot of time in eternity staring at the things. Flipping around.
They make Romanian Transylvanian pancakes.
There you go.
With bad accents.
That's where the recipe came from.
Exactly.
It was not inspired by anything holy. That's definitely true.
I don't know. That's a good question. And I lost my mom in 2014. And that was probably, she had a pulmonary embolism, and it was just like so fast. And that was probably the number one thing that I struggled with was like, it's so hard when people die. It's like they're here and then they're not here. And it's like, what are they doing? What happened to them? Like, what is she doing right now? Like yeah, my mom's last, yeah, I was just gonna say my mom's last words were, oh shit, because she knew it was like something was wrong and she just fell. And I was like, of course they were. That's my mom, right? That's, but I'm like, well, what is happening? Like, where do people go? Michelle lost her mom too recently. So go ahead, Michelle, sorry.
No, I just think, that's where I kind of go back to consciousness. I believe, this is just my belief. I think the soul is your consciousness when you die. That's why, I think, Michelle, you did some research on this. Your body weighs less. I forget how many.
29 grams, I think.
Grams or
something.
I've heard that. Your soul leaving your body, which is pure consciousness. And, you ask, what do these ghosts do? They can be everywhere. They can be anywhere. So that's just my thought. And, like she said, my mom passed away this past June. And because she knew, the field that I was in, I was like, Mom, you got to come back. You got to give me a sign. You got to do something. I'm going to have my equipment.
Wasn't that what Harry Houdini or Arthur Conan Doyle tried to do? Is like they were supposed to like give a sign from beyond to say that this is actually
Yeah.
real. I mean, I think ghosts may just hang out in light sockets for the hell of it. You know, it's like where else can they be?
No.
You know, I gotta say, I'm such a cynical fuck. I'm just a total cynical bastard.
You're not
But-
the only one who'll say that about you, Greg.
But my dad died, and about 8 years ago, and I never dream. I mean, I dream obviously, and I always have these shitty little dreams, nothing ever significant. But a few months after my dad died, I had the most vivid dreams I've ever had in my life that felt so real, where I was just at a party, and my dad was still there, and he was happy and healthy, and it was just like this. I know it was just my dream. It was my, neurons in my brain giving me a little sucker to make it better. But it was magical. I don't know.
What flavor sucker was it, Greg?
How do we know that
All
this
day.
isn't a dream? And when we dream,
But-
that's real.
I know, but I almost
Yeah.
felt like
Greg,
I
why
literally
just
spent the whole day feeling like I saw my dad again. Like it wasn't like, oh, I just had a dumb dream. All day I was like, I got to see my dad again. So somewhere,
That's
even
him
though if it's in
drifting
my
across your
neurons-
face right now too.
even if it's
Well-
on my neurological passages in my brain, whatever you want to say, it was pretty magical and supernatural. Like it was like, because I don't dream. My dreams are always crap. They're like, if I remember anything, it's like, oh, I can't get this ketchup gun to work. To squirt
Right, well,
ketchup. They're just
maybe,
pathetic.
yeah, maybe Greg, maybe you should just embrace the magic and let go with the cynicism just a
I
little
did.
bit.
I loved it, and I would look
Good.
forward to those dreams every 2
That's
months.
it.
I'd
That's
have
all
those
you have
dreams.
to do. That's
And
all
I'd be
you
so
have to
fucking
do.
happy. I did.
Yeah.
And I felt blessed that I had those dreams.
Yeah,
All
And
we
I
want
was-
is for you to be happy, Greg.
Well, I
know,
do,
but
Greg. I don't know about
but
Matt.
that was the. I don't know if I'll ever see my dad again. But in those dreams, I got to, and it was amazing. It was so good.
That's awesome, dude.
I'm a big animal lover, and I know when I come back, I'm gonna fucking haunt people that abuse animals.
So you said you're a big animal lover, so you just love like elephants and whales.
And suddenly the
Possum.
dog went
Well, no,
off.
the possum is a small animal. You said you were a big animal lover.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the people who abuse animals, you're going to be like the Blair Witch type of ghost. You're
I
gonna be
am.
fucking
I'm gonna be
malevolent.
freaking ninja.
You're going to be
You know?
malevolent out the wazoo.
How do you think ghosts get these abilities to move objects or things in a different in this different realm? I mean,
That's a good question.
what kind of? And also, don't you think they're just being stupid idiots for not just going off and finding something else to do? Like why are they hanging out in these places anyway? It's just kind of like
Because they
it
were-
just seems like
they
a
have something
pussy
to finish.
thing for them to do. Meh.
I think some
Whatever.
don't know they're dead. I think it's some like say my mom, although my
Okay.
mom's not done anything. I think some are the shock of the death, like if they're murdered or it's so unexpected, they might not know that they've
Okay,
died,
I can see that.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so they still
Yeah.
and somebody might move into their house and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing here? Like, this is my house, get out," and like they build up this energy and they like shove something off a table, because they don't know, they don't understand. I mean, that's just one theory. There could be 1,000 more. I don't know. But
Well, there's
that's-
plenty of lunatics walking around who are alive right now, so I can see them being lunatics
Totally.
when they're dead too.
absolutely.
And I know you
No.
guys are gonna probably get sick of me saying this, but I'm a big believer with this whole consciousness theory. You're saying, why are these people, still at this stupid house or whatever? Again, if there's somebody in there, they're trying to communicate and they're putting that signal out there like that energy can come zone into that place through consciousness.
So basically, what I'm getting is that ghosts were essentially incompetent people while they're alive, and they're continue to be incompetent because they don't know how to get the hell out of there.
No.
So-
No,
No,
ghosts
Oh,
are
anyway.
Some ghosts were wronged, and they don't want to leave this mortal coil until they right the wrong. Like all those movies where like, oh, I was murdered.
I don't
by
trust
my
the
wife.
movies, Greg. They're movies.
I know, but I would love if somebody wronged me and murdered me. I wish I could come back as a ghost and fuck with them. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Well, I'll tell you, there's two different types of hauntings. I think there are residual hauntings where it's almost like something so big happened that it almost imprinted on that place, like
I mean, like Pompeii or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it just kind of keeps playing over. It's not a
Allison.
It's not
intelligent.
intelligent, yeah.
Yeah, like it's not, it can't communicate with, it's like a film playing over and over and over again. So you might, like we talk about, like on the anniversary of, say, Pompeii, you know, like when the volcano happened, like we could go on that day and the anniversary, we would just see something, or Gettysburg or something like that, right? And then there's the intelligent hauntings where we don't know, you know, like Michelle said, it could be consciousness. It could be somebody who's pissed off. It could be you know, they just pop in when they feel like popping in, or, you know, like
they like to play practical jokes on people.
Right. Which brings me
Oh,
back around to the question of the bowling alley. Like, was the spirit of the bowling alley, like, was he pissed about being in the bowling alley?
He missed the spare.
He never got the 300 that he wanted to get.
Okay, got it, guys. What I'm saying, or was it the location before it was a bowling alley? Do you guys have any sense of that? Because a bowling alley seems like a really odd place for
It was built on an Indian burial ground.
Spirit to haunt, you know?
That's how I went in. I'm like, a bowling alley? Really?
Right. That's like,
I have got to learn to stop doing that. And Michelle, do you want to tell the story of how we figured out?
Yeah, one of the mediums that was with us, he calls himself a dark medium. He connects with dark energy.
That sounds racist to me.
And anyways, what he had picked up on a guy, I guess years ago, that worked at the bowling alley in the very back, that would fix the pins, you know, where all the machinery was. And that's actually where we got a lot of the activity. And he would scope out women, like he'd watch, and then he would hunt them down. Like he'd follow them
into the back. Like,
yeah, because there was a parking lot in the back of the bowling alley. So what we came, you know, what we were trying to figure out was, why was he attacking me so much? And, you know, I think we were doing some EVP sessions, and we thought maybe I reminded him of somebody, right?
What is EVP?
I mean, he was like squeezing my tit. Sorry, my boob.
You can say tit. It's totally fine.
You can use any type of word for that you want. But what does EVP stand for?
Electronic voice phenomena.
Okay.
That's where you do.
So it was an extraverbal penis in this case.
Not an extraverbal penis. No talking penis. But when you study white noise and like voices kind of can come through it. I played around with like some of that gizmo because I think it's interesting. But
he's also played around with an extraverbal penis.
I did not play around with an extraverbal penis. It was a non-verbal penis most of the time.
Somebody's squeezing my boob. I think it's Brendan.
Yeah, I am squeezing your boob.
Yeah, but talking about the EVP stuff, though, you know, a lot of people are like, well, how do you know that's just not, you know, something in the ether, like the radio station or this and that? But we've actually, we've got full first and last names. So that was pretty compelling for us. Like,
well, I heard one of your videos where there was distinct words, person's names being mentioned in the audio, and so I'm sitting there going, all right, so either it's legit or somebody's tampering with your track somehow, or they're playing a joke on you. So how do you
let me tell you, I'm just
determine what's real?
Yeah. Ben is our tech advisor, and he's a skeptic, right? I mean, Ben is, I wish he could have been here tonight, but again, hanging out with
Damn that Ben.
Damn that Ben. He will hear it from us.
He's got bigger fish to fry.
We're going to haunt him when we're dead.
Yes.
Ben, we're coming for you.
We're making a pact right now.
That's right.
But he is the one, so he does all our video. He, trust me, believe me when I tell you, the Ben is as straight laced as they come. He is such a skeptic that he will, how long did we spend on that door at Hill House? I mean, he will spend hours to debunk something. So we don't mess with any tracks. And I'm real funny about, I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, well, because I've never seen a ghost. I've never personally with my eyes seen a ghost. So I don't, you know, so I'm like, well, I don't know. Let's see what that was, you know? And so
but see, the hard thing about, you know, trying to prove these things, and it sucks because, you know, one of my best pieces of evidence is the apparition at the Baker Hotel. It was shot on a high 8, you know, Sony camcorder. Anybody can probably try nowadays to recreate that. But I know for a fact that that was real. I didn't make that up. I didn't, you know, fake it. So that's frustrating for me, because anybody nowadays can try and recreate something that's happened. Unless you're there to actually have the experience, you can't really make somebody a believer.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you have a video clip of a video of an apparition?
An apparition going across the lobby floor at the Baker Hotel.
Could you send us a clip of that? We should put that in the notes, Matt.
Yeah. It's on the YouTube channel, but yeah.
Send it to Greg. He'll get it to me.
Yeah. Matt will do all the work, but it's easy for me to say it. But then Matt will have to do all the work.
And I'll go, I don't know what Greg is wanting. I can't figure it out. But I want to thank the members of the Mystic Ghost Paranormal Research Team, Allison, Michelle, and Michelle. I'm very sorry, Allison, for the audio difficulties you're having, but I just love staring at your angry face this entire time. So, at the very least, I got that out of this.
And I loved your chat messages. They were all very enlightening. Oh, yeah.
The ghost did not want her to talk was the final message there.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for having us. Yeah,
well, I'm glad you put up with this because we can be a little bit of a handful on occasion. So,
okay, well, I
you
think
guys are awesome.
You guys are great.
You're matching our too. Yeah.
So we have we have the YouTube channel, which is
Mystic
Ghosts, and
website mysticghost.com.
Yeah, what social media can they follow you at? Or Facebook was also.
Well, actually, Michelle, Roan, and we found out about each other on TikTok. I know Greg hates when I bring these things up, but this is totally a TikTok find, and I can't remember if you reached out to me or I reached out to you or something.
You were twerking.
I do all of my twerking for ghost hunters.
I don't remember.
It was like months ago, like 5 months ago.
It was a while ago. I'm Ghost Mama on TikTok, and I do promote a lot of our Mystic Ghost stuff on there. Do we still have a Mystic Ghost, Michelle, on TikTok?
No, we never had one. I had a personal one.
It's a ghost of an account.
No, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm working on that because they banned me a while ago.
Matt knows about that.
Last year, so
I got banned on Facebook.
But they can go, obviously, if they want more information, they go to mysticghost.com.
Yes, absolutely.
And then all your social will be there, and you can follow along.
Yes, sir.
And really quick, sorry. We do a live stream. Usually the second and third.
No, twice a month. It's usually on a Thursday,
and it's announced on our Facebook page. So we do a live stream, and we talk about paranormal stuff and ghost stuff. So follow us on Facebook, and that's how you'll know about it. So yeah.
Outstanding. All right, I want to thank once again the team for Mystic Ghost Paranormal Research. This has been Matt, Greg, and Brendan with the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. You can find all of our stuff at www.qsblaw.org. And as I've said in the past, all of our videos are now easily accessible from our website. What else? I have nothing else to say. So thank you all for attending.
Thank you.
Okay.
Guys.
And
Thanks, guys.
Your consultation with the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker has ended. You may pay your retainer at www.qsblaw.org. Please exit to the right of the water cooler and grab a candy from the front desk. We hope to see you again soon, but you need to leave now. I said leave. Why don't they even listen? Get out! Get out!